SEO-optimized 20 Best Things to Do in Uganda. You've probably seen photos of African safaris on your feed, but nobody tells you that the most life-changing wildlife experience in the world doesn't actually involve a jeep or a pair of binoculars. Most people think they know what Africa looks like, but until you've stood 3 feet away from a 400-pound silverback gorilla in a misty jungle, you haven't seen anything yet. Uganda is often called the Pearl of Africa, and for a good reason. It's the exact spot where the dry East African savanna meets the thick, steaming jungles of West Africa. This means you get the best of both worlds. You can see lions in the morning and chimpanzees in the afternoon. With over 56 different tribes, dozens of languages, and a landscape that changes from snow-capped mountains to massive waterfalls, it's a lot to take in. Most travelers make the mistake of just flying in for the gorillas and leaving, but they are missing out on some of the wildest adventures on the planet. I'm going to show you 20 things you absolutely have to do in Uganda that will make you want to pack your bags right now. We aren't just talking about looking at animals. We're talking about whitewater rafting the Nile, eating the best street food you've ever had, and finding a prehistoric bird that looks like it belongs in Jurassic Park. The magic of the primates. The #1 reason people flock to Uganda is the mountain gorillas. This isn't a zoo. To find them, you have to go into the Bwindi Impenetrable forest. The name impenetrable isn't a joke. You will be hacking through vines, climbing up muddy hills, and sliding down ravines. It's hot, it's sweaty, and your legs will ache. But the moment the trackers signal you to be quiet, and you see a family of gorillas just hanging out, eating bamboo, and looking at you with eyes that seem way too human, everything else disappears. There are only about 1,000 of these creatures left on Earth, and half of them live right here. It's a heavy experience that sticks with you long after you leave the forest. Once you've met the gorillas, you have to head over to Kampala Forest for the chimpanzees. While gorillas are calm and peaceful, chimps are loud, chaotic, and fast. Walking through Kampala, which is known as the primate capital of the world, you'll hear them before you see them. They scream and hoot through the canopy, swinging at high speeds. Tracking them feels like being in an action movie. You're jogging through the forest, trying to keep up with our closest cousins. It's raw, it's noisy, and it shows you a completely different side of nature. If you want something a bit more colorful, go to Murchison Gorilla National Park to find the golden monkeys. These little guys are bright orange and incredibly playful. They live in the bamboo forests on the slopes of the Virunga volcanoes. They move fast, jumping from branch to branch, and they aren't as shy as the bigger primates. It's a much easier hike than the gorilla trek, so it's a great way to warm up your legs. Classic Savannah Adventures. Now, let's talk about the big stuff. Everyone wants to see lions, but have you ever seen a lion sleeping in a tree? In the Ishasha sector of Queen Elizabeth National Park, the lions actually climb up into the big fig trees to nap. Scientists aren't 100% sure why they do it. Some say it's to escape the heat on the ground. Others say it's to get away from biting flies. Whatever the reason, seeing a huge male lion with a full mane lounging on a tree branch like a house cat is one of the weirdest and coolest sights in the wild. If you're missing the rhinos, you have to stop at the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary. Back in the day, rhinos were wiped out in Uganda due to poaching. Ziwa is where they are bringing them back. What makes this place special is that you don't stay in your car. You get out and walk. You'll have a ranger with a big gun just in case, but you walk through the bush until you're just a few meters away from a southern white rhino. Hearing the sound of a rhino munching on grass while you're standing on your own 2 feet is a massive shot of adrenaline. For the ultimate waterfall experience, Murchison Falls is the spot. This is where the entire River Nile, which is huge, gets squeezed through a tiny gap in the rocks only 7 meters wide. The pressure is so intense that the ground actually vibrates. You can take a boat to the bottom of the falls and see hippos and crocodiles everywhere. Or you can hike to the top and feel the mist on your face. It is officially the world's most powerful waterfall. It's not just beautiful, it's loud, scary, and incredible. While you're in the mood for water, head to the Kazinga Channel in Queen Elizabeth National Park. This is a natural canal that joins two big lakes. Taking a boat cruise here is like sitting in a living documentary. You'll see more hippos than you can count, herds of elephants coming down to drink, and massive Nile crocodiles sunning themselves on the banks. It's the easiest safari you'll ever do because the animals come to you. If you want to get away from the crowds, you have to drive way up north to Kadepo Valley National Park. It's a long journey, but it's worth it. Kadepo is rugged, dry, and feels like Africa did 100 years ago. You'll see huge herds of buffalo and giraffes against a backdrop of jagged mountains. It's so remote that you might be the only tourist for miles. It's the kind of place that makes you feel small in the best way possible. For a more relaxed vibe, Lake Mburo National Park is perfect. It's the only place in southern Uganda where you can see zebras and impalas. Since there aren't many dangerous predators like lions here, you can actually go on a walking safari or even a horseback safari. Being on a horse next to a zebra is a surreal experience that you can't really get anywhere else. The mighty Nile in extreme sports Uganda is the home of the source of the Nile. In a town called Jinja, the longest river in the world begins its journey from Lake Victoria all the way to the Mediterranean Sea. You can stand at the exact spot where the water starts flowing north. It's a historical landmark, but Jinja has turned into the adventure capital of East Africa. If you're a thrill seeker, you have to try whitewater rafting on the Nile. These are grade 5 rapids. That means they are big, powerful, and you're almost definitely going to flip over at some point. The water is warm, the scenery is beautiful, and the rush of hitting a massive wave is unbeatable. If that's not enough for you, you can go bungee jumping over the river. Falling toward the Nile with the wind screaming past your ears is a great way to test your courage. For something a bit slower, try river tubing or kayaking. You can just float down the river with a cold drink and watch the birds go by. Speaking of birds, you have to go look for the shoebill stork. This bird looks like a puppet or a dinosaur. It's huge, gray, and has a beak shaped like an old shoe. The best place to find them is the Mabamba Swamp near Entebbe. You get into a small wooden canoe, and a local guide paddles you through the lily pads. When you finally spot one standing perfectly still in the reeds, it feels like you've traveled back in time. The Rwenzori Mountains, also known as the Mountains of the Moon, are some of the highest in Africa. Unlike Mount Kilimanjaro, which is a straight walk up, the Rwenzoris are a technical climb through tropical forests, bogs, and eventually glaciers. Yes, there is snow on the equator. Even if you don't go for the summit, the lower hikes offer incredible views of plants that look like they belong on another planet. For a shorter hike, go to Sipai Falls. There are 3 big waterfalls here, and the scenery is stunning. You're walking through local coffee farms and small villages. Most people do a coffee tour here, where you pick the beans, roast them over a fire, and drink the freshest cup of coffee of your life. It's the perfect mix of nature and culture. If you're still craving mountains, check out Mount Elgon. It has one of the largest intact calderas in the world. It's an extinct volcano on the border of Kenya and Uganda. The hiking here is fantastic because it's not as crowded as other parks, and you get to see caves and ancient rock art. When you're tired of walking, head to Lake Bunyonyi. This lake is deep, blue, and surrounded by 29 green islands. It's one of the few lakes in Africa that is safe to swim in because there are no hippos or crocodiles. You can take a traditional dugout canoe and hop from island to island. Legend says some of these islands have dark histories, like Punishment Island, where girls who got pregnant out of wedlock were left. It's a peaceful place now, perfect for relaxing after a long safari. The Batwa Trail is a must-do. The Batwa were the original people of the forest who lived in harmony with gorillas for thousands of years. They were moved out of the parks to protect the animals, but now they share their culture with visitors. They'll show you how they used to hunt, how they made fire with sticks, and the medicinal plants they used to survive. It's an eye-opening look at a way of life that is slowly disappearing. In the capital city, Kampala, the energy is electric. It's loud, crowded, and messy, but in a fun way. You have to visit the Kasubi Tombs, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site where the kings of the Buganda Kingdom are buried. It's built entirely out of traditional materials like wood, thatch, and wattle. To understand the religious history of the country, visit the Namugongo Martyrs Shrine. It's a place of pilgrimage for people from all over Africa. If you want to see all of Uganda's cultures in one place, spend an evening at the Ndere Cultural Center. They have dancers and musicians from every tribe in the country. The energy is insane, the costumes are beautiful, and the storytelling is hilarious. It's the best way to see the diversity of the country in just a few hours. While you're in Kampala, you have to hit the markets. Owino Market is one of the biggest in Africa. You can find anything there: clothes, spices, electronics, and local crafts. Just be prepared to haggle. It's a sensory overload, but it's the best way to see how locals live. Now, let's talk about the food. You cannot leave Uganda without eating a Rolex. No, not the watch. A Rolex is a rolled eggs snack. It's a fresh chapati, flatbread, with an omelet rolled inside, usually with some cabbage, onions, and tomatoes. You buy it from a guy on the street corner for about 50 cents. It's the ultimate comfort food. For something more traditional, try luwambo. This is a stew, usually chicken, beef, or goat, that is seasoned and steamed inside banana leaves. The leaves lock in all the flavor and make the meat incredibly tender. It's usually served with matuka, which is steamed and mashed green bananas. Finally, if you just want to sit on a beach, head to the Cease Islands in Lake Victoria. There are 84 islands with white sand and palm trees. It feels like a tropical paradise in the middle of a landlocked country. You can go fishing, sit by a bonfire, or just watch the sunset over the water. It's the perfect place to end your trip. The challenge of the Pearl, I'm not going to lie to you. Uganda isn't always easy. The roads can be bumpy, the African massage from bouncing in a jeep is real, and things don't always run on a strict schedule. You might get stuck in the mud, or a heavy rainstorm might delay your hike. There's a certain level of physical grit required to see the best parts of this country. You will be tired, you will be dirty, and you will probably be bitten by a few bugs. But that's exactly where the magic happens. The challenge is what makes the reward so sweet. When you've spent 6 hours trekking through a jungle and you finally sit down in front of a family of gorillas, the sweat and the sore muscles don't matter anymore. When you navigate a massive rapid on the Nile and come out the other side soaking wet and laughing, you feel more alive than you ever have. Uganda forces you to be present. You can't just scroll through your phone when you're watching a leopard hunt or listening to a village choir sing. The climax of any trip here is that realization that we are all connected. Looking into the eyes of a chimpanzee or sitting around a fire with a Batwa elder reminds you of where we came from. It's a place that strips away the fluff of modern life and gives you something real. Uganda doesn't just show you sights, it gives you stories. It's a place that stays in your heart long after you've washed the red African dust off your boots. Whether you're there for the adrenaline, the wildlife, or the incredible people, Uganda will surprise you. It's a country of contrasts, the roar of the falls and the silence of the forest, the chaos of the city and the peace of the islands. It's the Pearl of Africa for a reason, and it's waiting for you to come and see why. Check our video descriptions for the best deals in hotels and accommodation, flights, attractions and tours, travel eSIMs and insurance, transfers and airport services, trains and buses, car and bike rentals, cruises, package tours,